Morning Muttonistas, Mutton here. It's 6 a.m, a foggy morning in Islamabad, and I am leaving Islamabad. I'm at the Islamabad Club, and I'm also leaving Pakistan today. I've had a wonderful time here in Pakistan, and I'm about to fly on to another destination, so join me for a vlog where I give my final thoughts on my time here and show you a bit about flying business class on Qatar Airways. And yes, that is all my luggage, 4 bags by the slippery when wet sign. And given my sleep apnea, my need for camera equipment, I can't travel light. Although it would be fair to say that 4 bags is maybe a bit heavy. I usually have 3. It's a scrummage and an absolute mess here at Islamabad International Airport. Trolleys are like gold dust. I can't find an empty one anywhere, and I'll just have to do my best with these 4 bags I've got. The security is pretty tight here, which is understandable given the part of the world we're in. You have to take a security check just to get into the terminal, and then you check in, and then you go through the normal security checks. And by the way, Mad, what are all these people doing milling around, since you can't get into the terminal without a ticket? Wow, and boy, did they not mess about if you are parked incorrectly or for too long. They just get a forklift truck out and they take you away. Well, it's very peaceful in here, but unusually for me, I'm actually a bit over 3 hours early for my flight. But thankfully, as I'm flying business class, I should be able to find a short queue or hopefully even a non-queue. Oh, well, it turns out that the monitors are advertising the wrong check-in desk and the queue is even worse here. Very glad I'm flying business today. I mean, how long would it take to get through that queue? Probably an hour and a bit, I think. So a pretty laborious process here. Some chap checks all your documents and then directs you to the check-in desk where the same documents are checked a second time. Anyway, passport control looks like it's a little bit of a long wait as well. But I have a funny feeling that the queue for foreign passports might be a little bit shorter. So just the 1 hour 40 to get through all that. I won't go through all the other bits of messing about, but wow. Okay, you're used to places like this being a bit slower than a European security check and passport control, but this place takes the biscuit. I mean, that's with me avoiding the queues because I'm flying business class, so I can't see this flight taking off on time. Anyway, let's head to the lounge. One of the perks of flying business class is that you get these lounges to sit in before your flight with free refreshments, Wi-Fi and computer terminals usually and stuff like that. And you also get it if you fly a lot with a particular airline and get what they call status. I know for a lot of you, you'll already know that, but some of you don't fly very much, maybe don't.
वेटिंग लाउंज B6 से वेटिंग लाउंज B1 में तशरीफ ले जाएं। शुक्रिया।
Well, I can't say there's much here, but, you know, for a quick coffee, some water and a croissant or something, it'll do. And maybe I might show you the lounge in Doha, where I'm transferring today, and you'll see the difference. So, all in all, quite a basic lounge. Can't even get a cold water. The water's quite warm. The patisseries cakes rather than pastries, and everything's a bit meh. The coffee machine is awful, so I might do something I very rarely do, which is to just leave the lounge and go and find somewhere where I actually pay for drinks, given that I've got a little bit of Pakistani money left. Finally, we've got it. We've reached a promised land. Oh, that feels so much better. And I'll probably be able to get one on board because the new aircraft that Qatar tend to have espresso machines on board, but I really needed this. Feeling suitably refreshed, off to the gate we go. So, much to my surprise, we do seem to have a wide-bodied long-haul aircraft. Thought it might be a short-haul one, although the flight time is supposed to be 4 hours. Hello.
Pleasure to have you with us, Mr.
Thank you.
Hackett. I believe your license is here to see.
Thank you. Thank you. So, not only a long-haul aircraft, the much vaunted Q suite, and whilst economy class seems to be packed, plenty of room up front. So for those of you who are flight fanatics, today's aircraft is a Boeing 777-300, and it's always a good one to have with Qatar because they have the Q suites. I mean, these are the daddy of business class seats, excellent for a 4-hour flight. So we have a big screen in front of us, table for food when it comes, and of course the seat can turn into a flat bed with this footrest underneath, if you can catch it there. Yeah, so if I want to have a sleep, which I might well do, I can just lay this all out horizontally. Control for the TV and radio and games, and very important for me, PowerPoint, so I can keep everything charged up. And to my right, an extra stowage area with the headphones and a bottle of water. So of course you get a welcome drink if you're in business class, and it's a bit early to start hitting the booze or the champagne or whatever, and I suspect in this country it's probably not even allowed on the ground anyway. But one of my favourite drinks from Qatar Airways is Laban, or Ayran Laban, yogurt drink, delicious. And we've been told the flight time today is 3 hours and 50 minutes, so let's see what fun we can get up to in that time. So just to give you an idea about the cabin layout, the business class cabin is laid out 1-2-1, so one seat by either window and two in the middle. So if you're a solo traveller like me, you'd want the window seats. So if you are travelling as a couple or a four, you can just lower that partition and the one in front, have a conference or talk to each other. I've never sat in the middle because I always travel alone, but I imagine that could be quite fun if you're with a group of friends on the flight. You also get a little amenity kit. If you're on like a really long flight or an overnight one, you get quite a comprehensive bag full of all sorts of stuff, but you get a little pair of socks, an eye mask, useful for sleeping. Probably take that with me actually. And they give you a bit of lip balm, which I never use. So for a capital city, it's a surprisingly small airport. I guess it doesn't have a big population. Not that many planes taking off. Stuff to the Gulf, and a plane to Afghanistan, and a domestic flight to Karachi. That was all I saw on the departures board, and all I saw on the stands adjacent to our plane, and what was quite a small terminal building. So now the seatbelt sign's been switched off, we can and Qatar Airways does offer a dine-on-demand service, so you have what you want when you want, rather than everything coming at whatever time the cabin crew decide it's meal time. So, here's today's menu. Slightly odd for a 9:50am departure. Soup, salmon appetiser and a selection of, well, Indian or Pakistani mains. I can live with that, I suppose. And the real stuff has come now. Now apparently the soup is lamb soup, and I am going to have the smoked salmon 2 ways, and then the chicken saffron with tikka sauce. So we'll see how that matches up to all this Pakistani food I've been having. And there's quite an extensive wine list here. Champagne, white and rosé. Merceau, very fine Burgundy, and a Chilean Sauvignon Blanc. A adventure wine of Greco di Tufo, Chateau Bataille. I've had that on quite a few planes. 2013, not the best year, but it does go well on aircraft, that one does. A Syrah from northern Spain. Now, usually that part of Spain is more famous for its Grenache. And a Greek wine, which is very surprising. Sweet or dessert wine, and Dow's 20-year-old Tawny Port, which I think is quite good from what I learned from my trip to Porto earlier in the year. Please check out that video if you have time. And a selection of cognacs, liqueurs, spirits, beers and cocktails. Now some of these wines were present on the flight out of Manchester on the way over, and it's surprising actually. Merceau is a much better wine than the Tarapacá Sauvignon Blanc, but in the air the altitude plays havoc with your taste buds, and actually the Sauvignon Blanc was a better bet, but it was being served with a western dish. What's best here with the spicy stuff, I'm not really sure. Anyway, time to put lips to glass. It's been a month since I've had any champagne, and good to be back on the sauce. That doesn't mean I'm an alcoholic, by the way. Oh, that's good. So to complete my sort of thoughts and review of Pakistan, nice people, great food, quite conservative, a lot more Islamic than I thought, but very adventurous destination. Don't go there if you want cocktails and beaches and stuff like that. And would I recommend you go? Sure, definitely would, especially if you're a gastronaut. The food we get in the West from Pakistan or India, it's different gravy here. Here we have the middle seats. You can see the divide between the left and right seats in the middle, and another divide which can be opened here to the 2 seats in front of it. Okay, starters arrived. Interesting salmon preparation with some sort of fruit chaat. I wonder whether that's actually spicy or not. A really pretty trio of bread here. I think we've got white, brown and rye. And a bit of lemon olive oil. Now it does feel as if it's time for a quick slurp. I have ordered a glass of the Merceau, the white French Burgundy, but taking its time. I suspect nothing to open the bottle, since there are about 3 passengers in business class and probably I'm the only one drinking. Ah, now we're talking, now we're talking. I don't know why. Maybe on the previous flight the bottle had been hanging around for a while. I think this has been freshly opened. Nicely chilled, beautiful. I know white burgundies are not supposed to be that cold, but rather that than be actually hot. The marinated salmon, a bit salty but beautiful. And the fruit chaat, it's more like fruit with a bit of beetroot puree and a piece of beetroot on the side. Really freshens the dish up, a very fresh, light and tasty starter. And you'll actually find on aircraft, cold food is something that they can do very well. It's the hot dishes which can sometimes go wrong. Now, I'm not sure this wine will go well with beetroot, but we just had a piece of beetroot. That's a bit of a clash, but not too bad. So the mains have arrived. I had a choice of curry or curry, chicken, salmon or vegetarian. But what I would say is that either slow cooked dishes or curries are some of the best things you can have on aircraft, because all they can do to heat food up is use an oven. So something like a steak will always be a little bit dry in my opinion. So it looks as if we've got some saffron marinated chicken, some vegetables and some coriander masala, and some tomato gravy or curry sauce. So let's try it out all individually first. Now this is a piece of chicken breast, which is always risky. It's always something that there's a risk of being dried out. But that is not bad at all, I have to say. Wouldn't say it's spicy or anything. Time the veg. A little more to it, and then finally the sauce. That does have a little bit of heat, but very tomato based, only a little bit of heat. Anyway, Muttonistas, quick slurps required after that. Again, this isn't a bad match because it's not so spicy. With something spicier, I would have possibly gone for the Sauvignon Blanc or the Adventure wine, but this is perfect. I'm going to get on with this, and I'll be back with you when I've finished it. So, as predicted, there was an espresso machine on board. I'm not sure what it is. It might be an espresso machine, but still pretty good for a plane. Excellent. But to summarise, if you don't fancy going to Pakistan, next best thing, watch my videos. If you do think you might fancy a trip there, well, first of all, the visa takes a while, and half of them don't even know what their latest visa offerings are. I went for a visa in my inbox and nobody knew what it was, from the Qatar Airways ground staff in Manchester to the people at immigration on the way out. Guides, make sure you have guides, because the language issue can be insurmountable. Accept you're going to get the odd bad day stomach-wise, and accept it's an Islamic place, with some places or some parts of the country being more conservative than others. It really is a fascinating place, well off the beaten track as a tourist destination, and in terms of getting there, well, Qatar Airways, great service, great catering, and you probably can't beat the hard product Q Suite. So there we are, very pleasant flight, only 3.5 hours as it turned out. We were left with a little box of chocolates to send us on our way. Jesus H. Christ, you come off the plane and it is welcome to the jungle. The place is packed. So I understand during the lockdown, Qatar Airways was the only game in town. So this is why it's packed. Everybody wants to fly with them because they are reliable and everybody knows they'll get to where they want to go without a cancellation. They'll go to the biggest COVID hotspots in the world and take you there, as long as you've got the right documentation, of course. And I have to say, I don't see anybody not wearing a mask, but chaotic it is, and I'm looking forward to the sanctuary of the lounge. So, as I said, the business class lounge, I believe, is absolutely rammed at the moment, and I'm lucky because of my Qatar Airways privilege status that I can use the first class lounge when travelling on a business ticket. I've ordered some Veuve Clicquot La Grande Dame champagne, which is a bit of a treat, of course, because it's like 100 quid a bottle or even more than that. I'm going to have something to eat and some very nice white and red wine. There is, as usual, a QR code beverage and food menu, which I'm going to order from. So the champagne has arrived. I'm going to enjoy myself, take an onward flight. You'll find out from my future vlogs where I'm going. I'm not going to reveal it for now, but you'll find out in due course. In the meantime, cheers to the Grand Dame. I'll see you on the next one, and you'll learn where I'm going to. Until then, bye-bye, and don't forget, you can't beat a bit of mutton.